Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave me a leave me a 5-star review. I love reading the reviews, but not as much as I love learning about crypto. Guys, we've all seen so many people make ridiculous money off of crypto. But did you know that it's easy for you to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to simply just copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto, like me, or how to invest. You simply just do what he does. So let me tell you a little bit more about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which, despite heavy censorship, has over 15,000 subscribers and 1 million views. Since March of 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each one, it would now be worth over $66,000. Of the 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, is currently up around 440 times from when he started. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including people in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this for yourself. And if you'd like to join the 1,300 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/mayor. That's spelled Mayr. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners also get full access for just $1. You won't find this offer anywhere else, but act fast because this is a special New Year offer and it will expire soon. That's copymycrypto.com/MAYR. Don't take this offer lightly. He's the real deal. Go visit now or visit in like an hour and a half when we're done with this podcast. Yeah, I want to learn more about crypto for sure this year. This is the year 2022. I'm going to get svelte. I went to the gym once. I'm unstoppable now. Very happy to announce some stand-up dates coming up. I'm going to be back at Governor's in Levittown, Long Island, February 26th with comedians of The Compound, and then I'll be heading to Savannah, Georgia, March 19th to do the Wormhole Comedy Club. Then I'll be at Side Splitters in Tampa, March 20th. So get tickets for those shows on my website, chrissiemayr.com. The album is in the process of being produced. Aaron Berg from Uncancelable Records is producing the album. So I'm very excited to let you guys know when it's ready, which will be soon. I think sometime next month in February. It should be available for pre-sale, but stay tuned and I will let you know the details when I have them. Okay, I'm so excited to have this guy back on the podcast. He was on a few months ago, and you guys just loved him so much that we are having him back. I don't even know his real name, which is great. He's mysterious to me. He's the Critical Drinker. Welcome back.
Hello. It's a pleasure.
Hello.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back. I was going to call you Frosk there for some reason. I think you've kind of merged into one entity in my mind. I love that bit in Friday Night Tights, man.
Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, she's so fun to do. I don't know. I really like doing impressions of women and I feel like it's fun for me to do because I was a feminist. Like I very much remember that phase of my life where everything was sexism and I didn't want attention from anybody and then I dug deep and I realized, "Oh, that for me personally, I did that as a way to kind of pre-reject others. It's almost like you can't hurt me if I reject you first. That's just me personally. I know what I lived through. I don't know if that applies to others, but it's pretty crazy. Like, I would you consider yourself like a gamer? Do you play? You're mostly just a reviewer of movies and film and shows and pop culture. Have you ever dabbled in the gaming world?
I've been known to dabble. Yeah, I've got a real love for things like the Resident Evil series, so I've reviewed all of those games. I did stuff like The Last of Us 2 and that kind of thing. So it is something I get into from time to time. Like if something comes up that I really enjoy, like yeah, I'll do a review on that because it's cool. It's nice. It's nice to do something a bit different, rather than just talk about movies. But yeah,
Yeah.
my game reviews are usually like twice as long, so they take a lot more work.
Oh, okay. Have you ever felt like there's a sexism in gaming problem?
Yeah, people objectify me all the time, man. I'm getting sick of it. They're like, "Come on, drinker, like take off your shirt." It's disgusting. Can't
As
stand
they
it, man.
should, as they
Yeah.
should. You shouldn't hide that pretty face behind an avatar, come on now. And you even asked for, like, the wider layout. You were like, "Ne everyone needs to see my home, my new
Yeah,
my
my humble
couch."
abode.
Yeah,
I just want people to see my knackered old brown couch behind me. It's
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I have my Hunter Biden doll. I like to have him visible here. My
Oh,
little
nice.
Trump. Yeah, yeah, it's good. I have my little,
Um,
Among Us figures, and I was like, "Are they midgets? I don't know. They are what they are," and I'm waiting for them to take the Among Us figures and make, like, a trans one, like they're doing with M&Ms, like, they just can't leave well enough alone, it seems.
it's whatever they want to identify as, and if they want to identify as an M&M, then you can just treat them as that. So I say go with it.
I wonder sometimes if these I don't know, I think the issues surrounding woke culture, inclusivity, etc. is just a distraction to distract people away from probably the shows and movies that are coming out that are like not up to par. I feel like the more I see, the more I'm like, "Oh, is this just a distraction? Like are we just going to fight over like ethnicities and representation instead of stories?"
I think it becomes a really convenient shield for a lot of films, which I guess you've been made aware of anyway. But yeah, something like The Eternals is just a crap movie. Like everyone was bored to tears watching it. I think I actually passed out at least once while I was watching it. Um,
Was it cuz you were
but
drinking?
well, that might have had something to do
It's
with it.
kind of
But
your thing, yeah.
yeah, it's what I do, man. But the advertising around it and all the press junkets and stuff was just the actors talking about how we're saving lives, and like finally people can see themselves represented on screen, and it's the most diverse film we've ever made and stuff. um, and that's lovely, but it doesn't deflect from the fact that it's boring people to tears, and it's just a crap film. And it doesn't become this magical shield that you can use to deflect all criticism.
Yeah.
Same with Shang-Chi. Again, a boring, pretty bog standard Marvel movie, did absolutely nothing. But because it has an Asian lead and it's their first one to do stuff like that, suddenly in their minds it becomes bulletproof because that's all they keep talking about is that.
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah, right, The Eternals, it was like, "Oh, it's gonna be the most epic film ever." There's gonna be every type of ethnicity here, and people stopped talking about that film real quickly
yeah,
after it came out.
and I just think it's really funny that Spider-Man came out and made more money than all three of the other Marvel Phase 4 movies combined,
Whoa, yeah,
and
blew
then
them
some.
away.
Yeah, and it wasn't about preaching about diversity or how varied the cast was or what message it was trying to get across. Hey, it was just a fun movie. Who would have thought that after two kind of shitty years that we could just really do with fun escapist entertainment?
Who
You know?
knew? Yeah,
Yeah, who knew?
and they couldn't really use the excuse of like, "Well, people are still scared of COVID," that's why they don't wanna come out. It's like,
Yeah,
well, they wanted to come out for Spider-Man. I've been following this whole Peter Dinklage, Snow White, news that's been coming out the last couple of days. It's interesting because, like, I don't know. I don't think Peter Dinklage should be such a grumpy elf. I think he's made a really amazing career for himself. He absolutely blew up, I think, in his Game of Thrones role, and the last couple days he's been kind of responding to. So this is out of the Hollywood Reporter. This just came out, I think, gosh, is this today or yesterday? Today? No, yesterday. Disney responds to Peter Dinklage's Snow White live action criticism. So this is a film that has been in the works, I think, for years already. I think I don't know if live action, remakes take years and years to come together, but it seems like this one is just taking a while. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters. They won't even say dwarves.
yeah. These
Uh,
7 vertically challenged characters.
these 7, they're not really men of size. They are, yeah, junior height. 7 characters have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community, says Disney. My God, I mean, like, why do we have to take it all so seriously?
This
Uh,
is a misconception as well, right? Because the dwarves in Snow White, right? They are not humans with dwarfism. They're an entirely different species, and so you can't
oh,
apply that same criteria to them. It's like in Lord of the Rings or whatever. You get dwarves in that.
so they're like
They're
hobbits. They're just
yeah,
like
they're not humans that just happen to be really small. They're like a different species. So like, what's Peter got to say about them? Nothing.
right.
He's
In
getting a bit
fact,
too big for his boots. Is this one?
I think so. He's finally too big for something. Right, so it's like these are the 7 dwarfs, so there's probably, among the 7 dwarfs, there's probably one that's considered on the tall side, and, like,
I imagine there is. I'm really curious to see what they do with Dopey. There
right?
ain't no way that's gonna fly in 2022, man.
Yeah, is Dopey gonna be retarded? Is Dopey gonna have at least autism? Is he gonna I don't know. Is one of them gonna be a hoarder? Is one of them gonna be like very overweight? There's definitely gonna be a trans one. There's definitely gonna be
Well, there have to
like
be a diverse one, an ethnically diverse one.
yeah, ethnically diverse for sure. There's gonna be one that's like MAGA that everyone hates, and they're like, and then every time the camera pans to that one dwarf, the MAGA, he'll be watching like Alex Jones, but of the dwarf world, because that's such a popular trend now. There's always the equivalent of like Alex Jones on the TV of every character that we're like supposed to hate for their radical views. Um, Probably be a couple trans dwarves. That's what I'm seeing. So Disney on Tuesday responded to recent harsh criticisms made by Peter Dinklage about the upcoming live-action remake of Snow White. The Emmy-winning Game of Thrones star was a guest on Monday's episode of Mark Maron's WTF, where he blasted the announced film based on the 1937 animated classic. Those were the days, right? 1937, where men could be men. After noting the casting of West Side Story breakout Rachel Zegler, Dinklage told Marin, literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken. Anytime he says little, I have to laugh.
yeah.
I wonder if he's tried to like not say it and he's like, fuck it, I can't. I was a little taken aback
I
when they
I was massively taken aback
yeah.
by this.
When they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that fucking backwards story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my little soapbox? He didn't say little, but I'm just, people that are listening on audio, they're putting together a mental picture. I guess I'm not loud enough. I guess I'm not tall enough. No. I would love this is almost like a full meltdown here.
The,
Dink
yeah, this is a tough one, right? Because I get that Peter Dinklage has probably taken a lot of shit for this kind of thing over the years, and he's a little bit tired of it. But this just seems like a really inappropriate thing to lash out at.
yeah,
You know
because
what I mean? It's
he's
like
not
it's not something.
involved. He's not involved with the Disney
He's not
project.
involved in it. It's not cracking wise at people with dwarfism or anything. It's a completely different thing, and so it's just a weird thing for him to get mad about.
Yeah, it is. It seems like he's an angry elf. Disney attempted to set the record straight following the remarks. And this is, of course, they got to put out a comment right away. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of. What does that even look like? You have like a little focus group. They have everybody on a booster seat. Be like, all right, guys, gather around. You know, and that's the thing is that you could drop all this PC bullshit by saying this is a separate race of creatures here. This is a separate race of humanity, I guess. But they can't say that. They have to address.
Well, yeah, because then you would get like people from the dwarf activist community being like, are you denying our humanity by saying we're a different species?
Right. Are you calling us like non-human
Yeah,
or
it's like you can't
inhuman?
win with this, and it's such. This is why you don't remake classic movies like this in today's age because they're not allowed.
Yeah.
Classics are not allowed anymore, and there's no way you can get away with movies like Snow White. I mean, well, already it might as well be called like generic female identifying individual and the 7 vertically challenged unique special individuals who associate with her, because that's what you're going to get basically.
Right.
And yeah, like all of that stuff, that magic that you got from movies like that, it's gonna be watered down, and it's gonna be, homogenized and corporatized and made safe so that no one gets offended by it and no one's ever going to get entertained by it.
Yeah,
I just
I'm just remind all these movies to me feel like I imagine like a little boy and a little girl playing, and then like the little girl like takes the boys' toys, but then she like puts lipstick on them or puts dresses on all of the guys, and it's like, all right, this seems forced, and nobody's having a good time, and this is clearly worse than if you had just left these characters and these stories alone. That's how it comes off to me. And also, like the cave comment, just say that they're roommates. Just say the seven dwarves are comedians living in New York City who have to share rent. I don't know.
they not miners? Like they work underground because they're mining for gems or precious
Right.
gold
They
or
are
something.
minor.
So it's like they don't just
Yes.
fucking live in a cave because they can't build anything better. Like they work there. That's the reason for them being there in the first place.
Yeah. They're not like afraid to show their little faces.
So yeah, man, it's just this feels like a complete non-controversy from someone who just wants attention at the moment.
Controversy. That's a great word. I'm gonna have to use that. Yeah, still years from release. It's like, why do they even have to comment on it if they're like people are gonna forget about this by the time the movie actually comes out. Snow White will have cultural consultants, just like other live action films like Aladdin and Mulan.
Oh yeah, big success they were, weren't they?
Snow White. Wouldn't it be funny? I would like to see a Snow White that's actually about like a woman who's a white supremacist and she has to like she really has to, like, watch what she says because it's 2022 and she
It's
has
like
to go to secret
yeah, like
meetings.
her mom comes into her room and she has to quickly close her cupboard because there's like a white hood and cape in there. Like,
Yeah,
ah,
yeah, yeah.
look
Like,
at
her
that.
parents barge in, they think that she's, like, making out with some guy, but really they're just trying on hoods. Like, she has to, like, yeah, rip the hoods off the dwarves. Oh, boy. Yeah. The film has been in development for 3 years. The studio has been reimagining the dwarf characters since the earliest stages and intended for the characters to be CG and animated. To me, that sounds like there's no way they can win.
No,
It's like, sorry, this was a moment in time when it was created when these weren't issues. You could talk about dwarves, midgets, bearded ladies at the circus, whatever. It's just people were who they were, and not everything had to be polished over. Joining Zegler in the live action feature are Tony Award winner Andrew Burnap and Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot is gonna be the evil queen.
oh dear.
But she's so beautiful and
She
elegant.
she she is a gorgeous creature, but she can't act. She's
Mm,
not an actress. She was fine in Wonder Woman because like the script really didn't ask much from her. But
right.
then I was watching Red Notice the other day, and she had to be like this femme fatale character who was really flamboyant and like almost like a mustache twirling villain, and seductive and everything. She just couldn't do it, man. She
Yeah.
doesn't have that acting range in her, and so the idea that she's going to play an evil queen is just, yeah, it's another nail in the coffin of this film.
Right, and as a warrior, I think Gal Gadot could kind of be a little bit, like, emotionally at arm's length from the audience, which worked for her. Because right, if she's not the best actress, like, she can be a little bit kind of I don't know, like, not as passionate and just kind of, what might come across as, like, cool, calm, collected is like, well, maybe she's not really invested in this role, and maybe her range is not, uh, so wide. But right, if she's gotta be uh, a villain, yeah, she's gonna really have to pull from pretty deep. I could see her just being a kind of blah villain, just kind of like, "Oh, no, how dare you?"
I think so. Like the original Wonder Woman, it kind of required her to be. It's weird. She was quite like soft and feminine and compassionate, which is fine. I think that's probably like not that far from her real personality. But then when she has to do anything else that falls outside that, like the second movie tried to make her do some serious heavy lifting as an actress, she couldn't do it. Like I say,
Wow.
Red Notice expected her to be this big, flashy femme fatale type character who's like a master thief and a criminal, and she had a fight scene with The Rock, which was just the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
But that's another story. But yeah, she couldn't really pull it off. She was just too nice, I think.
Damn. Yeah, but she is beautiful. Like she's lucky. She's so hot. I think if she weren't as beautiful, she wouldn't be as successful. And I think it's okay to acknowledge like where someone's strengths are.
I mean, we all like to see beautiful people on screen. I mean, it's like most
Yeah.
big actors and actresses are really handsome or really beautiful. It's just that's how the world is.
It's like, "Gee, why do I like to watch this so much?" It's like, "Oh, yeah, because you it looks better than the people that I'm looking at in my house right now." It's fantasy. It's like we're not trying to picture, I'm not Frank just turned around. Of course, I didn't mean you, pumpkin. What would you say if you had to pick, God, this might be a hard question. Top 5 favorite movies of all time and top 5 least favorite.
Oh, interesting. Um,
Such a big question.
yeah, damn, I always hate questions like this. I mean, at least you're giving me five, because like when people say,
Okay.
"What's your favorite movie of all time?" I'm like, "I've seen thousands. How can I pick one out of
Yeah, it's
all
like
that?"
picking a favorite brown couch or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that one. That's the one for me. Uh, yeah. So favorite movies of all time. Really loved Falling Down. That I've gone on record as saying that's one of my favorites. Terminator 2, classic. Just love it. Um, Probably Saving Private Ryan. It's like my favorite war movie ever.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was indeed. I've got a real soft spot for It's a Wonderful Life. I tend to watch that most Christmases.
Aw.
Just gets me every time. And for such an old movie, that's pretty impressive.
Do you cry a
And
little?
I might shed a manly tear right at the end.
Oh, and you're like,
Don't react.
is that whiskey?" You're like, "Is that"
Yeah, yeah. I don't react like my face is totally impassive. There's just like one tiny tear going down.
one Indian
Um,
tear, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one, I don't know, maybe something like Predator, like an action movie. Yeah, just the
Okay,
kind of films that I can just rewatch again and again, just always enjoy. So yeah, those would be my
okay,
choices.
okay.
Um,
And least
least
favorite. That's
least
probably
favorite.
even harder.
There's there's so many in the past few years. Last Jedi would definitely have to be there for many reasons.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie, man.
Oh.
Um,
It felt like Jedi was a real, like, fork in the road. It's like and we don't know what the other fork looks like, and I wonder if that's what bothers a lot of people. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. I think I'm always it's always wasted opportunities that bother me in life. This idea of what might have been. And I think these Star Wars movies are just such a great example of that. Like we could have had the big three back on screen together again. Never done it. Could have had Luke Skywalker come back as a hero, didn't do it. It's all just wasted
Oh.
opportunities that you'll never get again, sadly. Um, yeah, other ones. What's the other one? Birds of Prey was garbage.
Oh, I didn't
Bored me
even
to
see
tears.
that. I did see when I was in the wig store the other day getting my, Frosk wig, I did see a Birds of Prey wig that was, like, very marked up. It was, like, basically just a blonde wig with, like, little dyed ponytails,
Yeah,
and I just didn't buy it on principle. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
this is so much more. Why?"
Don't want to enable that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then damn, Black Widow. That was boring. Yeah, just there's so many movies that like are just they're boring and bland and there, but like I didn't like actively hate them or anything. It was just
Yeah.
yeah, I felt
They
like a
just didn't
waste of my
do
time.
anything for you. Yeah.
The Matrix Revolutions or what? No, what was it called? Regurgitation or
The regurgita yeah,
fourth
I
one?
watched that. The Matrix what was it called? Reinvention? Fucking I don't know. I saw it in the theater, and, I was just confused for most of
Mm,
it. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel, but I'm not really feeling much of anything.
yeah, it was pretty bland. Oh yeah, and the last one, I did a feature on this because it was like one of the most disastrous movies ever. It was The Island of Dr. Moreau. It was genuinely a
Oh.
terrible movie.
Awesome. Alright, here's a couple of super chats I wanna get to before they, I get to them late, and then there's, like, the questions aren't relevant anymore.
Yeah,
From Okie Native, "It's nice the drunkler shows his casting couch." Oh, yes,
there it
there
is.
it is. It's covered in
Yeah.
jizz. Yep. SCB Well-Being. Will Perry Chan's rap version of your Frosk meltdown on FNT be on your next album? Oh man, I mean that's gonna be a comedy album. The tracks are gonna be jokes. Yeah, probably not. I just don't think it's super relevant. I think a lot of people will be very confused. Like the Frosk rap, the Frosk impression, so great, so much fun to do, but I feel like it's still a little bit of an inside joke for a particular community. But it was fun. From the Uber Geek. After the tweets Frosk has just put out, we will see Frost. Will we see Frost 2.0? Oh, I don't know, Drinker, Lord Drinker, if you were aware of this, but a bunch of us were tweeting at Frost to try to do an interview. And let me see if I can find these tweets because she was being kind of evasive. I know myself, I think Yellow Flash, Friday Night Tights, Geeks and Gamers were all reaching out to her like, "Hey, we would love to do like an open kind of respectful discussion and just talk about
Yeah, I
everything."
think I saw her response because like her whole shtick was like, "Oh yeah, debate me, bro. You
Oh,
have me on,
yeah.
I'll talk to you. I'll destroy you verbally." And then suddenly everyone's wanting her on, and she's like, "Oh
Uh-oh.
no, I don't know what to do now."
Yeah. And I don't know. I think not to toot my own horn, I think I would be probably I don't wanna say I'm a safe space, but, like, I'm not here to do a I'd never do a gotcha interview. I don't personally like that style. I think I would be a good choice, you know? Here we go. So this is what we are, Lord Drinker. We are all drama farmers. So this is from Frosk yesterday. To all these drama farming YouTubers, you can always reach out to my agent if you'd like to schedule a discussion. And then Drunk 3PO, X-Ray Girl, Nina, everyone's like, we're trying to reach out. We can't find your information. And then Frank is here. Like Frank has written multiple, like very professional emails to her PR people. I guess a lot of us have reached out. Everyone's popcorn. And she's not really responding. And it's like, I get it if you have a lot of followers or whatever. I mean, that's what Twitter is. Twitter is for interacting with people. It's for engagement. It's like, why put something like this out there if you're not gonna at all be like, "Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I wanna do this one," or, "Oh, yeah, I wanna do this one," or, "Oh, yeah," like,
the number one rule with anything like this is never put that out there. Never challenge people to something like this if you're not going to see it through, because you
yeah,
just look like an absolute pussy.
Legion
And that seems to
Games.
be what she's doing here.
Chris
I would love to see her come on your show, especially if you were dressed up as her. I think it would be amazing.
Uh-oh, this is a picture of me. Don't look at it. Okay, it's just me in my bathing suit.
That
Uh
was for as only.
Your as only, yeah. And oh god, this whole thing, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen." I just,
It would be legendary if she was on Friday Night Sites.
it would be it could only help. I think it could only help her case and make her seem more relatable. And, she's already got this impression out there that she doesn't quite care for the fans. So what better way to address it than to go on a Friday Night Tights and make fun of yourself or like look at the memes or whatever, that's
I
what we all wanted to see out of Jack Murphy after he was kind of
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah.
the meme of the week, but he's still been pretty quiet, so I don't know if we'll see much of a reaction or her letting her guard down.
I think I could see why she would be reluctant to go on something like Friday Night Tights because it's going to be a hostile environment for her. But yeah, if you could find someone who would be fairly neutral in this, I think there's plenty of YouTubers out there who would give her a fair shout. And yeah, if she just came on and kind of calmly stated her point of view, um,
Yeah,
what's going to be the harm in that? Like
and
if
again,
someone
it's
who's willing to listen to her.
right, no one can tell you that your lived experience is wrong or false. Like if she were to come out like, "Hey, here are real instances of when I faced uh sexism in gaming," and instead of just speaking generalities, then we could sort of like really find what the issue is here. Because if it's like her not being able to tolerate negative comments online, that's one thing. But if it's like if she's gotten, DMs from gaming executives or whatever, it's like I think it's good to talk about it because we can clarify like where this is coming from, but it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I think both things can be true as well. It's like, do I think that she's probably taken a lot of shit over the years for being a woman in a mostly male industry? Yeah, probably has. Has that pissed her off? Almost certainly. But then, does she make it worse by like antagonizing her fans and like kind of lumping everyone into the same boat? Like, oh, anyone who's criticized her is a sexist. Yeah, she's absolutely made it worse for herself. So I think it's a no-win situation really for her.
Right. It's like saying, "Oh, you can't criticize science, and by the way, I am the science."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, there's ways to handle it, and I think if you're, if she'd been a bit calmer perhaps about it, might have
Yeah,
worked.
it definitely was very unexpected. I think she would have been better to do, like, a video on her own YouTube channel or on her own social media than kind of forcing it onto G4. Because now it's like, you put G4 in a little, whether they admit it or not, like, now they're in the position of having to, like, defend something that maybe they weren't ready to talk about, or that maybe they don't even see as a problem. It's like she's making her personal problems now the company's problems.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that it was scripted, what she was working
Oh,
from
yeah,
there,
it
so they
it
kind of
definitely
knew that
was.
that was going to happen. I would never have approved something like that because, yeah, just from sheer common sense, you know how inflammatory that's going to be. And to have that on a gaming show, it's like that is not the forum for it, especially when you're just trying to get reestablished
Right.
after being shut down for a long time. Like, man, you need to keep as many people on site as possible.
I wonder if they were just like, "Oh, she's a woman or a lesbian." I still don't even know. I don't It doesn't even matter, but, like, that's another reason why I could understand management being like, "Uh-oh, we gotta approve it." Like, we were so afraid of what would happen if we weren't to approve it, so it's kind of like she's got everybody by the balls. Russ,
Yeah.
man, hail to the drinker, and of course, my queen, Frosk.
She's my queen.
McQueen, ambient space noise. Glad to have you guys back together. Can you ask Drinker what came of that Razor Fist collab he asked him about on Twitter? Keep up the great work.
Somewhere between nothing and fuck all. Yeah, I invited him on. He weirdly retweeted my invite, but then didn't respond to it or anything. So I don't quite know where I stand there. But the offer is always open. It'd be great to have him on sometime.
Who is Razor Fist and what were you trying to collaborate on?
Just to have him on an open bar stream
Okay.
with a bunch of other people. Like he's been on Friday Night Tights before. I think he's
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
Sounds familiar.
he's kind of like a commentary channel, so he'll comment on YouTube dramas or things that have gone on. So he would comment on things like G4 and Frosk and stuff.
Hmm.
And he's quite well known for just his epic rants that he goes on. So yeah,
Who
he's quite an
knows?
interesting dude.
Yeah, sometimes I reach out to people and I don't hear from them, and sometimes I get pissed and I'm like, "Oh, this person's a fucking flake." Like, I'm done." And then you're like, "Oh, wait, that person could also just be very disorganized and
Hmm.
uh I don't know." So I have to be careful not to like write people off prematurely. The front porch conservative, Chrissy and Drinker. I love both of your work. Drinker, you magnificent bastard. Will you be doing a review of The Death on the Nile? Also, have you done or would you do a review of Darkest Hour?
I haven't done a review of Darkest Hour yet. I've seen it. Thought it was pretty good. Gary Oldman was a really good Winston Churchill in it. The with the makeup and everything, it was uncanny his resemblance.
Ooh.
Death on the Nile. Don't know. I've not really thought about it much, if I'm honest with you. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'll get back to you on that one.
My high school yearbook quote was Winston Churchill. I wish I could remember what quote it was though. Like, I thought I was so freaking smart at the time. I was like, "I'll show all these kids. I'm gonna do Winston Churchill for my senior quote."
Churchill had some great insults.
Everybody else was like, their senior quote was like, "Gym tan laundry,"
Yeah.
because I was in the Jersey Shore era, although it was Long Island, which is essentially the same thing. Kelly Johnson, drinker. Should Chrissy watch GOTSN 8? Am I
you know,
saying this wrong?
yeah, Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh, I have never seen any Game of Thrones.
I mean, no human should watch Game of Thrones season 8. It's a war crime. Um, so yeah, just no, don't do it. You would probably enjoy like the first 4 seasons of maybe season 5 as well. It starts to dip pretty noticeably after that though. So I don't know if you'd want to start a show knowing that it's going to be shite when it ends.
I've also heard that like the main female character kills a bunch of people, which made me a little intrigued, but that's all I know.
I mean, there's quite a few. It's a big ensemble cast, but you're
Okay.
probably thinking of Arya, who becomes like an assassin.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's got a lot of enemies that have wronged her, so she just goes on a killing spree, basically. But then they kind of
Interesting.
make her into a superhero by the end, and she ends up killing like the big bad of the whole series, just like
Ooh,
by herself, which is
okay.
totally disappointing. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's not really believable that one woman could just kill the big bad guy by herself.
I think it's more that it was built up that a different character was going to do it. Like that was literally his whole purpose
Okay.
throughout the entire show. And then when it comes to the final moment, he's off somewhere else screaming at a dragon
Oh,
because he can't
wow.
think of anything else to do.
Oh, man.
It's totally wasted.
From Grand Muff to working
So white.
so white, so white in the Seven Klansmen. I would watch it.
There's a movie.
Yeah. That sounds fun to me. You smell frosky. Woo! Podcast 2 of Critical Drinker. But when is podcast 1 of Mauler? I would do a pod with Mauler. Why not? Why not?
I think you would have
Kelly
some fantastic conversations.
Kelly Johnson. Drinker, will you torch House O Drag like Danny did KL?
You guys love the abbreviations today. So she's
God,
saying, will you torch the House of the Dragon like Danny did from, or did in King's Landing?
okay.
I mean, if it's shit, then yeah, I'll torch it. If it happens to be good somehow, yeah, I'll praise it.
Yeah, if you guys could not abbreviate, that would be great. Especially today, I got a bunch of concealer in my eye, so everything's blurry. I tried to do my makeup really fast because Frank was timing me because he always makes fun of me because I take so long to get ready, and he's like, "All right, let's see, like, do the fastest face you could do. I'm timing you," and I always like lie, like, "I just need 2 minutes." He's like, "I'm timing your ass," and then I was knocking everything over, and then I had like concealer on a sponge, and then I just like basically put it all like in my eye, and my eyelashes were concealer colored. It looked really weird. I looked like super blonde.
We've all been there, Chrissy.
From Peter DeRosa, great to see the drinker on. Love both your channels. Here's a strange sci-fi question for you both. If you could travel 10,000 years into the past or 10,000 years into the future, which would you choose? Ooh.
Good question. I wouldn't go 10,000 years into the future because the odds are we'll have blown up the planet by then. But yeah, you know, my plan, I'm going to go into the past with like a bunch of stuff from today, and I'm going to be an absolute god back then. It's like, look, cavemen, here's a fucking iPhone. Check it out.
Oh, I was
And
thinking
like,
a mug. I was like, yeah, it's got a handle and everything.
well, there's that too, yeah.
I would go back. Yeah, I would like to go back 10,000 years in the past. I'd show up, I'd be the only bitch with a push-up bra,
Yeah.
with slick shaved legs. I'd be the number 1 queen bee.
There you go. You could have any man you wanted back then.
High heels.
What is this glorious creature?
They would use the high heels to, like, hack away at their enemies. They'd be like,
Yeah,
"Ah, these are weapons." I'd be like, "I guess they are."
they are now.
Or I would take back a lot of, like, the dumb, kind of quirky inventions, like a like a it's like a cane that you can pee into, or no, the golf club that you can pee into. Have you guys seen that? It's like a
That's a
QVC
great
thing.
invention.
It's a golf club, but you could actually just, like, pee into it. It's, like, for men who, I guess, don't wanna pee when they're out golfing. They just pee into a golf club, they screw it back on, put it back on the little car. I'd show up with one of those.
Yeah. And it's all good until someone tries to tee off with it, and then it's like, ah, I'm getting sprayed everywhere.
It's not screwed on, and it's like, that's actually hilarious.
I would
Yeah.
love to show The Last Jedi to the cavemen and see what they reckon about it. Maybe they can make sense of
Like,
it.
oh, no."
I think even they would know it was shit too, just instinctively.
They'd be like, "This is terrible." Kevin Huntsy, oh, thanks for the $50. Frosk, do you bleach your whole beehole? Had a joke there, but super chat censors everything. Oh man, that's why you gotta get creative. I mean, me personally, I've never bleached my beehole. I think that's the one body part that I think it's okay if it looks a little shitty. Do you know what I mean? Would would the Frost bleach it? I don't think she would. I think she would be upset at the idea that that is a beauty standard forced upon women.
I do it all the time, man. I can't get enough of it.
You're like,
I just
I'm sitting in a little bucket of bleach right now.
yeah. It started out as an experiment. Now I just can't get enough of it.
I just I just crave the sting.
Yeah.
Rainer Chen, to drinker, have you watched Shaolin Soccer or Kung Fu Hustle by Stephen Chow? Will you do a review on it if you d?
I have seen Kung Fu Hustle, and I thought it was good fun. Liked it.
Good
Yeah.
fun. Is that what a lot of your super chats are? Just people asking you to review stuff?
I think so, yeah. brace yourself.
It's good though. It's like it's what you're good at, and then people are just like, putting in their requests like you're a jukebox.
I always feel bad though, like if I'm doing a like a stream of my own, and then someone will send in like a $50 super chat saying, "Tell me what you think about whatever movie it might be," and it's like something I've never even heard of before,
Oh
and I'm just
no.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm
Just
sorry."
make it up. Just be like
Yeah, it has interesting plot and characters. There you go.
Front porch conservative drinker. Given your love of good liquor and great actors, what are your thoughts on the following? Richard Burton, Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole.
Absolute legends. All British actors who were, really around back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Ooh.
Legendary drinkers. I remember doing a bit of research on a war movie that Richard Burton was in, and apparently he just disappeared for a week in the middle of filming because he'd gone on like a bender around Europe with Richard Harris. And yeah, nobody knew where they were.
Oh
They just
no.
showed up, like eventually completely fucked after a week of drinking.
The days before cell phones, I feel like were the freest. It's like, yeah,
Oh man,
you could just be off, you could just not be seen for days. And it was like,
Could
all
you
right.
imagine an actor from like a Marvel movie doing something like that? It's like, oh, Chris Evans has disappeared, and he's, he was on some crazy bender in like New Orleans or something. We don't know what happened to him, and then he eventually showed up when he was ready to start filming again. Like, it's never going to happen.
And
Everyone's
it,
so safe and like well behaved now.
oh yeah, because everyone's got handlers too. I think with social media has created a lot of handler positions, like both of social media and just making sure people either don't get into shenanigans or just damage control. If anybody was gonna do something like that, I'd expect like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. relapsed. He was
Mm.
found like upside down in New Orleans.
I mean, that's the kind of thing he was doing like 20 years ago. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
not anymore.
He's on the straight and narrow now.
I mean, to be
Drunk.
fair, it's worked out well for him.
Oh gosh, yeah. He was perfectly cast in that role. And I don't know, just amazing. Just a great actor. Drunken throat punch. Hail Chrissy and the drinker. Check out the video midget KK. It's hilarious. Uh-oh, this seems like a trap. The video, all right, I'll check that out. Yumsy. Sad to say that The Last Jedi was my first experience I had with Star Wars that happened to play on TV and turned it off after 20 minutes. Then I watched the OG films, felt like I got a turd out of my mouth. What?
A fantastic metaphor.
Ah, that's so colorful. Boricua Damas, that guy with the white pants hanging out in the back is totally asking for a handy dandy. Oh, who, Hunter here? This guy, it's like he came originally in his underpants. Well, he arrived here in his underpants, I should say. And then Andy Masterson sent me like an accessory pack. So I'm not gonna
You're making it worse.
I'm not gonna use my time to pants Hunter Biden. I feel like that was a trap. All right, back there. Back on your candle. Sit. Fuck.
He's
All
gone.
right.
Oh,
Let's
he's just hanging in
go.
there.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Desert Fox. A hidden gem I like is Enemy Mine, but Big Trouble is my fave.
Enemy Mine is a really good movie. Yeah. It's got Dennis Quaid in it, and it's like a sci-fi movie. So he's like at war with some alien race, and they both get stranded on a planet together. They got to work together to survive. It's a pretty good film. Yeah.
When do you think Hollywood's going to like stop trying to do remakes, and do you think they would ever take a chance on original ideas or unheard of, scripts from people that are not sort of in their pre-selected, pen of
I mean, they'll definitely keep making original movies. It's just a question of how much budget they want to devote to it. It's no good saying, yeah, we commissioned like 5 original movies this year, and they had like a budget of $1 million each, and we did fuck all advertising, so no one knows they exist. It's pointless. Then you got to throw some cash behind it and give it some, publicity.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if they'll ever get tired of making remakes because some of them make money.
right. And then when
And
you remake the remake, like with Ghostbusters, I mean, that was
it's
actually that worked out.
Yeah, but it'll just never stop because it's like, why put the effort into coming up with something new? Why take a chance when you can just take a tried and tested story, give it a modern facelift, and away you go?
You
It's
don't have to
easy.
do the work of actually creating a fan base or it's just a shortcut.
Yeah. It's just like microwaving a meal, it's just rewarm it.
Yeah, except it's like it takes the moisture out of it. It's a little bit crustier. It's like it would have been better if you had taken the time to put it in the toaster or the oven. You have to wait longer, but it's better. That's how I feel about pizza, at least. Like, you
Yeah.
can only microwave things once. After that, you gotta either eat it or throw it out.
I don't mind eating cold pizza the next day, you see.
You
It's
seem
like
like the type. Yeah, you
yeah.
seem like
Maybe it's on the floor, who knows?
maybe I got my foot on a piece right now. Kelly Johnson Drinker, oh, we were just talking about this before we went live. Will Boba Fett have a fair and equitable end?
I certainly hope so. I want justice for the Sand people.
I know. I was like, I don't know. People love to shit on the Book of Boba Fett, but I really felt something for the Sand people. I forget which episode it was, but like you're watching his whole journey. He's like bonding with them. And I was surprised that he didn't pick up like any of the Sand people language, but he understood them. He fought with them, fought for them. He had his own little stick made of a branch that he marched out into the desert for, and they just were killed by the fish people? What were they called?
Oh, some biker gang, I think, killed them.
Pikes, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Just, well, there it is.
There it is, and
I don't know what to say there.
I was like, well, I was like, should I was like, "Drinker, do you mind if I spoil the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett?" He's like, "Spoil away." So Mandalorian, and it was teased in the episode prior that the Mandalorian was gonna show face, Din Djarin. I didn't know that was his real name, but that's what they called him by. So he comes back, and he sort of it's interesting because he meets back up with the two other, I guess, OG Mandalorians, the lady Mandalorian who had like the fur piece on her.
Oh, she was like the armor crafter, wasn't she, or something?
Yes, and I like that she is like a lady in charge, but she's not talking about how she's a lady in charge all the time, like at all. She doesn't mention it at all. She just is a boss, and she's not like, I'm female. Everyone deal with it. And then him and this other Mandalorian, this bigger guy, they kind of fight because the bigger Mandalorian wants the black saber, but then he doesn't end up getting it. And then at the end, she asked the two of them, like, "Oh, have you ever taken off your helmet?" And then the other guy says, "No, of course not." And she's like, "Has it ever been taken off of you?" And he's like, "No, of course not." And then she asks Mandalorian that, and she's like, "Have you ever taken off your helmet?" And he's like, "Ah, fuck." And then he has to go, and she sort of casts him out. And I was like, "Wow, this is kind of just like the conservative party here in the US. It's like this rules are so strict. It's like if you've watched even a little bit of porn, get out, you know?" I feel like that's what's happening. But he kept his black saber. And I wonder if he will end up being reunited with those two. It's like it's just the two of them. It's like all your Mandalorians have been pretty much killed. It's like I think they would do well to loosen up some of their rules. And I'd be interested to see like what you think of it, because there's a ship that they're on that looks just like the ship from Halo. It's like this big,
The ring.
basically
Yeah.
like ring ship that's pretty similar. So I wonder if maybe there's some people involved that worked on both.
I mean, Star Wars is a weird and wonderful universe, so I guess there's no reason they can't have crazy technology like that. Seems a bit
Yeah.
of an odd thing that I've never seen before, but yeah, fine. I just think it's interesting that like taking your helmet off is such a big thing for the Mandalorians, and yet like Boba Fett just cannot keep his fucking on.
Yeah,
Like
he
he just
wants
has to show
everyone
his
to
face.
see his bloated head 24/7. He's like and everyone's like, "Is that Joe Rogan?" "No, it's Boba Fett."
I can see the confusion.
Yeah,
Yeah, like damn, it's not like he's such a gorgeous man that like he needs to show his face every 2 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd think he'd keep it on just for safety, if nothing else.
It's weird. It's like he wants people to see his face, but he won't do the whole, like, laying on a tarp being carried by, minions that the Hutts do, the big fatties with the fans. They like to be carried around everywhere. I
Yeah,
forget what it's called, like, when it's like a posse of people that show up with you,
yeah, an entourage
when you
basically.
arrive. Yeah, entourage. A litter? A litter, like, of puppies? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I
Uh,
don't know. I've been entertained by Boba Fett. I'm kind of enjoying it. It does sort of feel like a sort of, a Mandalorian's, season 2.5 in a sense, especially with this most recent episode.
It really, for me, it just feels like filler. It's like they
Hmm.
were told we need a series. What should we make it about? I don't know what's available. Boba Fett, yeah, he'll do, and just like construct some kind of really quick, easy story around it. Like so many of the episodes just feel like you could condense like 2 or 3 of them into one, and it would make for a much tighter story. And yeah, it's just I think when Waller and I were talking about this, we just call it content now because
Mm,
that's really all it is. It's not entertainment as such, and it's not a really a story that needs to be told. It's just content for content's sake because we need to drive Disney Plus subscriptions. We need to just have that pipeline of stuff coming out all the time for people to watch. Like you binge one series, you move straight on to the next one, and so we just need more Star Wars things. And this is the kind of problem, and this is what my fear was when the Mandalorian did well. That the lesson Disney would learn from it is like, cool, we just need like half a dozen more shows exactly like the Mandalorian, and just produce them nice and cheap. Hey, we've got the set on Tatooine with lots of sand. Yeah, we'll just set most of our series there because Obi-Wan's going to be set there as well. And we
okay.
can just do it nice and cheap. You reuse the same sets. Away you go.
Same
No problem.
sand. Just flip over the
Same sand.
sand, get the
Yeah,
blood off. Yeah.
that's it.
So that's interesting because I've talked to some of the Friday Night Tights guys are not watching Book of Boba Fett because they're like, "Oh, I stand with Gina," which I get, but I feel like I don't know, people would like to hear their commentary, but they'll watch reactions of other people or teasers and they'll be like, they're of the mind like, "Oh, this is wrong. They're telling the story of Boba Fett all wrong. They're doing it wrong." And it seems like you're of the mind like, yeah, not that it's wrong, but it's just a story that doesn't need to be told. It's like not that interesting.
I mean, it's both of those things for me. Like, I think he's acting weird and out of character. He's kind of dumb and gullible when the Boba Fett from the original movies was like really sharp and ruthless, and just he feels like a completely different person. And they've just made him that way to fit the needs of the story. In which case, why even make a series about him in the first place? If you just want a different character, just do that.
Right.
So that's my issue with it, I suppose, is that it doesn't feel particularly faithful to the original Boba Fett. And yeah, he's now just played by this, old tubby actor in his 60s who can't do the action scenes anymore and who just looks
My back.
completely kind of, yeah, like about the extent of his work is that he'll jump off a little platform onto a step below, and you can almost imagine him being like, "Oh shit, that's gonna hurt tomorrow morning." Yeah,
My knees.
yeah.
What would a more faithful Boba Fett look like? Less dialogue, more mystery, him being more of a badass, probably, maybe,
I
eh
think, yeah, like him probably would make sense for him to become a bounty hunter again, rather than this weird crime lord thing where he just stays in one place. I know why they're not doing that because it would make it too similar to the Mandalorian, where he's just
Hmm.
kind of questing across the galaxy. But that's who he is. He's like Mandalorian, but like twice as good. He's more
Oh,
experienced.
wow.
He's ruthless. He's happy to just disintegrate people who fuck with him.
And you wouldn't
Um,
know that by watching the show. If you didn't know that Boba Fett was a even more badass than Din Djarin, it doesn't come across at all. He seems softer. He seems like, "I'm old and ready to hang it up. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
run a
this is
general store," you know?
this is the thing. Yeah, you should just retire and have a nice little garden somewhere, and just potter around. That's what he wants to do. Yeah, like every time he's faced with danger or people who are very obviously out to kill him, his reaction is, "Let's do nothing. Let's just wait." And it's usually his sidekick, Fennec, who has to say to him, "No, you need to show strength here. You need to be ruthless. You need to like stamp down your authority." And it's like she's more of a Boba Fett than he is, and it feels weird. It feels like she's doing his job for him.
Which serves the women empowerment message, I guess.
I would have been happy to have a series about her. Like, to be honest,
True.
like if you're going to just
Yeah.
have her being badass and just doing her own thing, fine. I could live with that because she's an original character, and let Boba Fett do his own thing. But as it stands, it feels like they're just treading on each other's toes. It's a really weird dynamic they've got
It
going on.
does seem that way because she's a great actress. She's a badass character. She doesn't need anybody, and she's not like an active man hater in that way. She just does her job. She's kind of like surviving all the time, and yeah, I don't know why they didn't. Maybe because not enough name recognition with
Mauler
Boba
made a good
Fett.
point about this, right? Because they're both basically assassins and bounty hunters and stuff, right? It would be really cool for them to be like comparing notes. Like if you do have to have a show with the two of them
Ooh,
in it, like have them approach things differently and be like maybe competing with each other a little bit. Like I'm more badass. No, I'm more badass than you. I've killed
and
more
then they make
people.
out.
Yeah,
No,
exactly. Whatever. Yeah, you can do that. In their armor, of course. Uh,
clink, 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 clink.
yeah, it'd be really awkward.
Metal kisses. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, something like that, just to give them more personality and a little bit of bite to their relationship. But as it stands, it's just like two robots exchanging information. Like there's no personality, there's nothing behind it. It's just weird.
Yeah, I agree. It is a little weird. Oh, we did that one already. Okie native drinker. Never heard of Quickly Down Under.
Now I have. Yeah, this guy was really keen for me to watch it. So every time I did a live stream, he'd super chat me like, "Have you watched Quigley yet?"
Wow. You
I was,
finally got to him. You
he
broke him.
finally broke me, and I was like, "Oh, fine, I'll go watch it for fuck's sake."
That's probably very satisfying to him. Michael Lejeune, drinker. Can I fly you to Louisiana from Mardi Gras to come drinking with me? Wow, now you're an
count
escort.
count me in, as long as I get those bead things
Yes.
that you wear.
Oh yeah. What they do is the guys on the street, they'll pick them up off the floor, wash them or not, and then just sell them to people. They're like, "Oh, a package of 20." And then they'll just be like Lucy's from because they're free. You can get them kind of all
Yeah,
over.
I mean, once they've been thrown away, they've served their purpose. Really, you can always do it again.
Yeah, that's true. But, you don't want them to smell like, puke or something.
Mm.
Mr. Scott J87 Frosk posted an open invitation on Twitter for drama YouTubers to contact her agent to schedule a discussion. May I suggest Frosk meet Chrissy Frosk? Oh, yeah, we were just saying that. That would be epic. I don't think she'd be down, though. She still hasn't blocked me, which I'm shocked over. Kelly Johnson, C, will you learn jujitsu for your hair salon beefs? I did. I had a beef in the nail salon on Christmas Eve over not wearing a mask. I think, yeah, if I learned some sort of martial arts, that could only be good. You never know.
Beat the shit out of everyone, stamp down your authority.
Yeah, shove a mask "You want this mask?" and then shove it in their mouth. Ambient space noise. Has Drinker ever played the real Ghostbusters 3 video game from 2009? J.K. Simmons was actually modeled after his video game counterpart in the new one.
No, I'm ashamed to say I've never played it, and it's a real shame actually because it's meant to be great. Like a lot of people have said, it's basically the Ghostbusters 3 that we never got because
Oh,
they got
wow.
all the original actors back to do voice acting in it. It's kind of an original story, and yeah, it's just meant to be really fun. So yeah,
Wow. It's really
I feel
cool.
bad I've never played it.
Maybe that'll be your next thing. Test site. Drinker, you could easily be an Autobot, but you can't tell me Molar wouldn't be the perfect Shockwave Decepticon. It's a Gundam is forever cast as the star scream to your Megatron. Hail to you both. That's the nerdiest fucking super chat I think I've ever gotten.
Yeah, we had a discussion about this the other day. I think they were implying that like me and Mauler should be Decepticons, and I was like, it's because we're British, isn't it? Like we're just automatically the villains. Like that's discrimination right there, Chrissy. I'm sick of it.
Without knowing what a Decepticon is, to me it sounds like a trans person who tricks an NFL player into hooking up with them.
I mean, it has the word trans in it. Like
Yeah.
Transformers from like the 80s, like the cartoon show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you could be the Decepticons and they were the evil guys. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm sick of it.
New Jersey Scoundrel. Just watched Pulp Fiction. Haven't seen it in a while. I forgot about the liberal use of the N bomb. However, it was
Yeah,
refreshing to see a creative allowed to be free. Can't do that anymore, though.
I think Quentin Tarantino's still allowed to do it. For some reason, he just gets a free pass. And it's usually if Samuel L. Jackson's the one delivering the lines, he's fine.
Yeah, he's got an N card. Desert Fox. Tales of the Bounty Hunters is better than what we got. I think if they went in a noir hunter mystery storyline, it could have been epic.
Yeah, I agree.
Kevin Hunsey. Chrissy, can you tell Drinker about your Jabba the Hutt fetish? I don't have a Jabba the Hutt fetish. I don't know. I would like to see Jabba the Hutt maybe go to the gym in 2022. Maybe, slough off some of his comorbidities. I'm
Do you think?
surprised
So if you got
the
like a
Hutt.
buff Java, would that fit
I
the
could
bill.
see him driving a bus for sure. I'm surprised none of the Hutts have gotten COVID yet. Adam Kloss. I'm just waiting for the drinker's take on the inevitable all-female remake of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Is that a thing? Are they doing that?
I don't think it's a thing. I sometimes
It
don't
will
know.
happen, I bet. If it's not a thing, it will be eventually.
I've seen more good ideas for shows and movies come out of just, YouTube chat banter than I feel like people probably steal the ideas. Jay Sawashelback. I just purchased a whole bunch of new Will Jordan books that I didn't know about. I went to listen to one. It's in German. All these new titles I bought are in German. I don't speak German, you sneaky bastard. Haha, love you, Chrissy.
Yeah,
Ich,
you should really check the product description.
ich liebe dich. I don't know anything
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but yeah, all my books have been translated into German, but they've kind of got Englishy titles, so it's easy to mix them up.
Oh no.
Sorry, man. You could learn German. It's
Keep
easy.
them though. That seems pretty cool.
Hmm.
Russell Hall. PCU is a must review with Jeremy Piven, Jon Favreau, David Spade, etc. It was basically the Animal House of the 90s. Yeah, Jeremy Piven's an asshole though.
I can say that with all confidence, I know fuck all about Jeremy Piven. Don't know anything about him.
He's a dick. I hosted for him once at a comedy show pre-pandemic, and I'll just never forget this. Like I went and I've told the story before, but he did a bunch of shows and I was the host, and like I said, "Hey Jeremy, like just remember this is a wireless microphone. Like just it's tricky. There's a button on the side. You could very easily turn yourself off." Okay. He starts the show. In the first 5 minutes of his set, the microphone turns off and he's like, "Uh-oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work." And then he drops the microphone. He's like, "I don't need it. I'm a stage actor. I can project." And I'm sitting on the sidelines going, "Oh no, he can't do a whole show like this with no microphone." So I creep over, in front of the stage. I turn the microphone on and then I hand it up to him and he goes, like, I tested it and then handed it up and it worked. And I thought, okay. And then the crowd laughed and I was like, oh, okay. That worked. That people laughed. The next night he does the same thing, turns it off. Like, oh, well, now I'm like, is this on purpose? Is this a thing we're doing? I do it
It's a
again.
bit now, yeah.
I creep up to the stage. I grab the microphone. I test it. I hand it up to him. Crowd laughs. I go, oh, okay. I figured this is the thing we're doing. And then the third night or the third show, and meanwhile, I'm going out of my way for him the whole freaking weekend. It was at an Italian restaurant. They didn't even make an iced coffee, but he wanted an iced coffee. So I like walked back to the kitchen and I was like, "Can we make an iced coffee for Jeremy Piven?" I was like, so nice. I like made this iced coffee happen for him. I really was just, I don't know. I just feel like I was a waiter and I'm a comedian, so I feel like I respect everyone involved. So, and then I go to hand him some pictures for him to autograph before the third show, and he had his driver, he had like his posse with him, and I was with one other person. So it's not like we were alone. And he's autographing the pictures. He's like, "Yeah, can I tell you something? Maybe we can get through a show without you ruining that joke." And he was talking about his, like, he basically said I was ruining his joke where he drops the microphone, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm so sorry." He's like, "You got me coffee. That was good." And then patted me on the shoulder, like a little pat, like a little like I was a little doggy. "Got me coffee. That was good." And he's like, "Yeah, can we just get through the whole show without you ruining that joke?" And I was like, I actually did cry. I'm gonna say almost cried. I walked out of the room and then started to cry because I was like, "Oh," it was in front of all these people, and I was like, I'm thinking, dude, why didn't he tell me after the first show that I shouldn't have done that,
Yeah.
that he had something planned for that bit or whatever? I'm like, he's fucking barely been doing stand up. I thought he was just like a fucking retard. And then we were rolling with it, and he made me feel so bad, and I'll never forget that. And I'm just like, man, this guy's so fucking Hollywood. He treats people under him like trash. So anyway, that's my Jeremy Piven story. And he has
Well, there
hair
we go.
plugs.
Now I know a little bit
Mhm.
about him. I know he's an asshole.
And his whole set was bought and written for him by I forget the name, but anyway, I know someone who knows someone who verified that he doesn't write his jokes.
Ugh.
It just feels good to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to spill all that tea.
That's okay. I don't have to clean it up, so I'm fine.
Yeah. Andrew Loden, drinker Would you play Red Dead Redemption 2? Love the world and the characters. So much to do. Oh, is this the
Yeah, I
one that
played it and
Frosk?
completed it.
Oh, he
Is that
completed.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game. Really good. Yeah, are you asking me like will I play it on stream so everyone can see? I could. It's
Sounds like it.
pretty fucking fun. Yeah, the amount of times like, you know, things just go horribly wrong in that game. Like there's like a little karma system. So if you do good things for people, like your karma goes up and it affects how the game
I
treats you.
like that.
And I tried to help someone out because there was like a woman on a cart that was like broken down and she wanted a lift back to town. So I was like, no problem, ma'am, I'll help you. It's a really boring mission, but sure. Then we get attacked by like just a random posse of like, you know, cowboys out on the plains. And so I have to like get off and start shooting at them. And so she panics and runs away because she's seen me commit murder. And so she's going to report it to the police.
Oh, man, she coulda just been cool.
I know, and I'm like, I don't want to have to do this. It's just
You killed her? That's awesome.
That's how the game just
Like,
like totally
"Man, you
fucks
shoulda
you
just
over.
stayed in the car."
I know you could have just pretended not to see anything, but yeah, there it is. Listen,
That's
before we go
funny.
on, I unfortunately am running a little bit short on time this evening, because
Oh,
I've got to head off
yeah.
fairly soon.
No worries. I have one more super chat, and then I have one quick question, then we can wrap it
Sure,
up. Russell Hall, they throw meat on a vegan hippie protest in PCU, for God's sake. It's a must-watch classic.
nice.
And Kelly Johnson, Drinker, how many times did John say McQueen on SN8?
A lot.
A
Yeah,
lot.
I'm sure there's compilation videos out there. I found one, and yeah, I think I actually threw it into one of my videos, and it's just like, yeah, McQueen, she's McQueen, McQueen.
And I wonder, have you gotten this at all? What do you say to people who think that you are either inspired by, or have you ever gotten people saying to you that you have copied the Red Letter Media's Half in the Bag series? Like, have you heard that a lot?
Not really, no. I mean, I sort of get the similarities there, but sort of playing a character in a YouTube channel is not a rare thing. It's not unique to me and Red Letter Media. Like a lot of people have done it. And it's just a way of making it more interesting, you know, rather than just me with my sort of boring normal voice just talking away. Like you can inject a bit more personality into it, and yeah, it just makes it fun. And
That
so,
makes sense.
like I say, it's not a new thing. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's not really something I've been compared to that much.
Are you actually drunk, or it's just like a voice you do?
I'm always drunk, Chrissy.
Yeah.
It's what makes life bearable.
So true. That's so true. Well, I know you have to run. Thank you, Lord Drinker, for joining us again. Where can people find you and follow you? And do you have anything coming up, or where should people go to follow you?
Yeah, you should find me on YouTube under the Critical Drinker, and I've got a second channel called Critical Drinker After Hours, where I've got more reviews, generally of older movies. So that's also where I put my live streams once I've done them. I stream every Thursday, and the next video I put out, I'm on a little bit of a Bond kick at the moment. I'm quite into James Bond
Ooh,
right now, so I'm ranking all of my Bond actors from like worst to best. So I don't know why, I just felt like doing it. The more I got into it, the more interested I became in it. So
no, that's great. That sounds awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Um,
so much for coming on. Thank you, chat, for your comments and questions and super chats. Until next time.